Every morning when I wake up and check the news, I find myself staring at the same heartbreaking headline: kids dying, parents helpless, school authorities silent, and everyone else just shrugging their shoulders. We see media outrage, the candle marches, angry rallies, and then everything goes quiet until the next tragedy hits. Recently, a 9-year old fell from school building. Earlier, there was some confusion whether it was a slip or did she intentionally jump. Now, the story is out. She was heavily being bullied and harassed in school. And now, a 16-year-old kid from St. Columbus School in Delhi, the school famous for Shah Rukh Khan because he used to go there. The boy jumped in front of a moving metro train. He left behind a note naming teachers who were regularly publicly humiliating him. He has been studying in the same school, St. Columbus, since fourth standard, so it was not like a new environment for him. But the high school teachers were particularly arrogant and made his life so miserable that he could not even last the end of his session, which was about to end in just 10 days. And he took the decision to end this ordeal forever. This is where I start seeing a painful pattern. These aren't just some teenagers having mood swings or kids acting impulsively. These tragedies are not random events. There is a much bigger and sinister and a darker problem. Many people, without understanding, ask: the child appears normal. The child is laughing, playing, talking, going about their daily routine. How can anything be so awful, or how can anything be so wrong? They fail to understand that a person's life has many aspects. A few of it can be healthy, which the person is very keen on carrying on those parts. However, there can be a few parts which are particularly painful, deeply troubling, and those parts sometimes overshadow their entire life. The harm comes from individual that the person is closest to: teachers, family members. I call such people as monsters because these people take pleasure in belittling, being mean, or bullying a weak soul. On the outside, such people, the monsters, appear respectable, but their actions create a feeling of humiliation, fear, and deep emotional wounds. For Amira, the story is that she simply said hello to a boy, and that twisted it the boy twisted it into a claim that she said I love you to him. And then he proudly went about telling this false story to everybody. Can you imagine how ridiculous, how helpless, how exposed, how embarrassed it would have made her feel? Especially when the same distorted story, the same question, the same comment is coming towards her from many different angles. This is the world of children. They can be playful, but they can also be awfully mean and cruel. Many teachers are expected to not just go through the lessons, but also manage the dynamics within the classroom. Amira had approached the teacher at least 5 times, and all those times she was dismissed. It was out of an action and reaction that she took the deadly plunge, unable to contain the humiliation, the hurt, and the drama. Some children are sensitive children, honest children, quieter children. Somehow they become magnets for cruelty, magnets for mockery, magnets for worse behavior in others. In this video, I want to highlight how some kids are susceptible to being targeted, how teachers' behavior influence other students, how families fail to see any obvious signs, and why bullying and mental harassment is as real as as physical harm. Because what is happening is not just kids being dramatic or finding an excuse to not go to school, and it's not normal school stress. This is violence, a silent form of violence. We talked a lot about ragging in colleges, and now colleges have put strict rules and punishments and monitoring in place. And look, ragging related suicides have dropped because when the law steps in, the sadistic streaks in humans gets controlled. People think twice before hurting and harming somebody. But in school, the power dynamics is completely different. The teacher rules the classroom, their word is final. So if their word is final, so if the teacher decides to constantly pick up on one child, or they see no repercussion to contempt and meanness that they download to a helpless student, they continue to do so. After all, teachers are humans and not free from personal flaws. They repeatedly insult and humiliate a student in front of everyone, and the students learn from that. After all, students are humans. They are not free from their personal biases. After all, these teachers are humans. They are not free from their personal biases and vices. They repeatedly insult and humiliate a student in front of the entire class, and the students learn that behavior, they mimic it, and then they join in. Bullying becomes a group activity taught from the top. I can tell you firsthand that teachers can make or break a child. I was constantly compared to other kids, and my parents would often raise a complaint about my poor academic performance, and that would give the teachers another excuse to target me, pass mean comments. And in order to be appreciated and validated, I would put myself in these random competitive scenes, random experiences, just to get some validation, some brownie points. But I never did, and made my case even worse. So it all backfired, and I was criticized even more. I started losing confidence in myself, and I just did not know what is right and what is wrong for me anymore. The word is once you are put through heavy bullying, you are susceptible to even more bullying, like a Bluetooth device that auto connects whenever it finds the right port for bullying. Like, it gets, you just become a magnet for it. When we look at physical injuries, a broken arm, a twisted leg, a bleeding wound, we immediately understand how serious it is. We don't expect the person to just walk normally the next day. We just don't say, hey, come on, get over it. It's just a little hurt, get over it. We don't say that. With bullying, the wounds are of the same intensity, but they are inside, they're deep down. The person who is bullied feels the same level of pain as someone coming out of a road accident: fear, shock, confusion, trauma. Yet, because there are no visible marks on the body, we expect them to behave as if everything is fine. Every single day, we expect them to act normal just because their skin isn't bruised. And when help doesn't arrive, the mind slowly starts to shut down until the child sees no escape, no safety, no hope. For a long time, I believed school counselors could solve this issue. But here, in this case of St. Columbus, he had told the counselor that he was thinking of taking his life. He literally said it. And still, he was not saved. This is not the failure of counseling. This is the failure of adults not being decent adults. It is a failure of empathy, a failure of responsibility. If just one person, one teacher, one kind individual had shown genuine concern, taken one extra step, walked extra mile, this boy and many other young souls would still be alive. Sometimes it takes only one adult to change a child's entire world, and sometimes those adults choose not to bother. I think this hits me harder because I have faced bullying and harassment. I know the helplessness. I know the frustration of trying to speak up and feeling like your words don't matter. Even when adults realize something is wrong, they don't act with urgency. They don't treat it like a life threatening danger that it is. Parents delay making any change, thinking that it would affect their career, their marks, their life negatively. But what use are those marks, that the career, if The child is not even alive to experience it, to see it. Adults hold power, adults delay decisions, adults try to minimize the pain the child is feeling. And the child is the one who has to walk into the same hostile environment every single day with no protection, no escape, and no choice. In the end, the only decision left for the child is the worst one imaginable. These tragedies are not isolated events, they are warnings. They are telling us that a system is broken and it is costing us lives of our children. It is time we stop brushing it under the carpet. It is time we treat mental harassment with the seriousness it deserves. And it is time adults, teachers, parents, counselors, authorities take responsibility before another child decides they cannot survive one more day. Because no child should ever feel that ending their life is the only escape.